We will be doing something new here today, and that's going to be called a Super Ask Me Anything, in which I will address a whole bunch of questions. First one goes out to Kenneth. I have a question, hopefully you can help me. My dog is very nervous and anxious around cars. Can't walk in a city. She's great around people. Doesn't like cars. 18-month-old Cane Corso. Started socializing in 7 weeks. You need to get her out by cars. You need to get cars at a distance. Keep it very, very positive. Use treats, use food. What I probably would do with the dogs, I probably wouldn't feed her for like maybe a half a day. Like maybe don't feed her nighttime feeding the night before, and the next morning take her outside with a nice big bowl of food, something she absolutely loves. Put it down when cars are in distance. I did this with Goofy. He hated bicycles. Started feeding him on Pacific Coast Highway where I live, in front of bicycles on the weekends, and he just started to think that when bicycles were around he's going to get food. He really, really loved it. Question number 2. Jessica says, what about if a high value treat like a bone makes the dog protective of it? If you have to correct the dog and remove the bone, how do you remove it from without getting into flight or biting? So great question. One thing is I would make sure that the dog doesn't see it as that high value of an item. If he does, I would have 2 bones. I would give him a bone, and then I would say, hey, come here. I'd give him the other bone and then take the first bone. I would start switching one bone for another, make sure the bones are far enough apart so the dog doesn't get both bones, because then you're going to have to get a 3rd bone, and that's going to be a pain in the neck. But making sure you're always trading out something valuable for something valuable, something more valuable. You might want to get some structure on the dog so the dog has an out command, a leave it command, a yuck command, a fooey command, whatever you want to call that. But you're going to need to get the dog to listen to you and not to be that possessive over it. And also remember, it's always easier to remove the dog from the item than to remove the item from the dog. If you remove the item from the dog is more likely to snap out and bite than if you remove the dog from the item. Question number 3 goes out to Gregorio, who says, please continue the work educating us. When you get a chance, can you make a video on how to teach your dog not to climb on the couch? Well, there's not really a video I need to do on that. What you can do is make the couch off limits to the dog. So if he gets on the couch, push him off. When he's laying down, let him relax, pet him, good boy, good boy. When he gets on the couch, don't yell at the dog and interact with the dog when he gets on there. Just have a line on the dog. When he gets on the couch, give him a pull, no, down, very non-emotional corrections. Just make the dog think that they don't belong there. He's bound to listen to you. If he's a good dog, you've been training him, and you've been watching my videos, you shouldn't have that hard of a time with that. That's a really easy one. Next question. Coco, thank you for your valuable educational videos. You're welcome. Somewhat embarrassing problem. My 15-week lab retriever will eat her poo. When I let her out for potty, I make sure I scoop it up. Okay, this isn't that uncommon when Labradors or any dog eats poop. It's usually a lack of nutrition. They're usually pretty hungry. So what you're going to want to do is make sure the dog has a really good, nutritious diet. A good, either it's a kibble or a wet food diet or a raw food diet. Sometimes it happens on raw food diets because they're not getting enough calories and stuff like that. It's embarrassing to me to say too, but Maya has done it in the past. Not a big deal. Make sure the dog has plenty of food. Make sure that if it doesn't go away, there's a product that people have used called Stop Eating Poop. It's something, I think it makes the poop taste better or whatever, but I've heard that that's not a bad thing to do. You don't want the dog eating poop. Okay. Question number 5 goes out to Mark Gombrich. Just adopted a 1.5 lab mix. I think maybe 1.5 month lab. I don't know. A 1.5 lab mix from the Humane Society. He has no interest in any chew toy or balls. Is this normal? Stays at my side all the time. Maybe it's 1.5-year-old lab mix. They told me he tries to mount all dogs. How do I socialize him? Well, first of all, you get 2 different issues here. If he doesn't have any interest in chew toys or balls, he just has a low prey drive. That's kind of like Jimmy is like that, but Jimmy likes bone, so he would probably do that, but not a chew toy. So you might try a bone, get a good marrow bone, see if he likes that. If he stays by your side, that's a great thing. If he tries to mount all dogs, you want to get him socialized with dogs and don't let him mount them, because that's going to end up being a disaster. So you just have to tell him to sit. He sees the dog, and then you take him away. You tell him to down, dog walks up, he gets some treats from you, he goes away. So that if he sees that he doesn't really get to take it to that next level of mounting those dogs, and he's calm because he stays by your side, you should be able to fix this pretty easily. Don't let him get to the point where he starts to mount and you have to correct him. Correct him before that, or guide him in the behavior before he gets to that level, and it's going to be a lot easier for you. Okay. Cindy says, all of your videos I watched 2 and 3 times. That's great, thank you. It increases the views. I pick up something that I missed. I have a small wooden table that's perfect for the set. I did watch it with Maya, and she did perfectly. She's at GDS, just turned 6 months old, and she has good solid basic training. Are the use of e-collar, I'm not really getting this email. I have 18 acres. For whatever reason, she's fascinated with deer poop. I tell her no, leave it. But times she's quicker. The e-collar doesn't seem to phase her. I've turned it up. It's an ongoing process. The battle of deer poop. Can always use your advice. Yeah, so deer poop is a problem for all dogs because even Goofy and Maya like to eat deer poop. It must really taste good. I've never tasted it, but I'm assuming it tastes good if they eat it. So just try to keep the dog away from it. I mean, I wouldn't really overshock the dog for that because it's just natural. She's just being a dog. I wouldn't. It's not that big a deal. It may not even be poison. I think wolves probably eat deer poop. Maybe some extra nutrition in there. How do I get, this goes out to Steve, question number 7. Let's see if we can make it to 10 questions. How do I get my 4-year-old Catahoula rescue to stop jumping up on people? We tried all the conventional things recommended on YouTube and by the behaviors that led his obedience class. Well, I mean, a Catahoula is a really high drive dog, so you're probably just dealing with a lot of drive, but what I would probably do is get the dog at a distance, teach the dog to sit, reward the dog back to you. Don't let him meet people right away because it's the excitement of meeting people, and also when people meet him, they're probably saying, oh, puppy, puppy, or greeting the dog. What I would do is I would do it in a couple of phases. The first phase would be I would have the dog with me. I'd walk the dog around people and keep the dog engaged to me, very, very focused. And at the next phase, what I would do is walk the dog around the people, get the dog to stop and to sit and to down in front of those people, and then I would release the dog back to me again. And then the third phase, I would have the dog sitting in front of people and let people pet him for a short period of time and then call the dog back to me. But letting other people meet the dog willy-nilly is probably what's causing this problem for you, and it's not going to get any better. So that's what I would do. Question number 8, Bradley. I have a 5-month-old Labrador Retriever. When I walk, she keeps pulling and running in front. How can I stop that? Simple. Watch my video on leash training, and you'll see that you're going to just need to make about turns. When the dog is too far away from you and pulls, gets corrected, then when they come back to you, they get a treat, they get a reward, they get praise, they get no corrections, whatever you want to use. But you need to start making about turns and getting the dog to pay attention to you, because obviously whatever's in front of you is much more exciting to the dog than you are, so you need to be more exciting than that. Let's see, question number 9. Here we go. Pedro says, my 3.5-month-old puppy is barking, suspicious fear barking, if I'm reading the body language right, at people and dogs in the distance. Close up, he's all excited and play and is actually very polite with dogs that are more apprehensive and very playful with dogs that engage in play. How should I handle it when he's already barking? How should I do setups so that he sees people and dogs and he gets rewarded for not reacting? So real simple, you're going to have to focus on some obedience, but he's only 3.5 months old, so I really wouldn't do anything at this point. But get the dog to engage you. So maybe have a hot dog with you or have some cheese with you. And at 3.5 months old, you should still be doing so much luring and shaping behaviors on this dog before you get to any corrections. It's too soon. The dog doesn't know what he's doing wrong. He's not doing anything wrong. You're saying the dog is good when he meets people, dogs and stuff like that. And Dwayne was like that. Dwayne would lunge and bark and stuff like that. And what we did with him is we just kind of always reward him being close to us, and we would just make about turns or stop. Just stop and make sure the dog knows he's got to come back to you. And as he's getting rewarded for that, he's going to be a lot more likely to disengage or to be able to be called off of that. But don't do any hard corrections on a 3.5-month-old puppy who's just trying to play. He's just being a puppy, and you don't want to do that. And the last and final question on this Super Ask Me Anything goes out to Doris, who says, how can you train puppy to be nice with rabbit? What do I have to know before I take puppy? How to prepare rabbit? There's a joke there, how to prepare the rabbit in a stew, probably. I'm moving house as well. Should I bring puppy and rabbit at once, or rabbit first to new home? I don't have a puppy yet, but he will be Staffordshire Bull Terrier. This doesn't look good for the rabbit, Doris. It just doesn't. I mean, I would really suggest you not get a puppy if you're going to have a rabbit, especially a Staffy. It's too much. I mean, terriers they're terriers. They're hunters. So I would not suggest this at all. Don't. If you have the rabbit and you want to keep, if you like your rabbit, don't get a Staffy. Don't do it. Maybe a Labradoodle or something. I don't know. But you're going to need to introduce it very slow, and you're probably going to need to hire somebody to do this. I would not I wouldn't do this. Sorry. So I hope you enjoyed this long edition of Ask Me Anything with a super edition, and I hope to see you soon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button.